Yes. Okay. So good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. My thought for you today is going back to one of those sort of really simple things that the Buddhists say that help when I don't want to try harder to figure out how to say things in a in a complicated way. So it's simple, but it's not simple, right? So it's going back to that old idea of what they say is that before enlightenment, I chopped wood and carried water. And after enlightenment, I chopped wood and carried water, right? Because this is the reality, right? Is that there is simply life, right? That there's the ability to write into that experience any amount of poetry or tragedy or anything that your mind can imagine, your emotions can fluctuate from. You can overlay that onto that basic reality. And that's what happens, right? They say that's what it means to be embodied, is that we overlay that basic reality, the Brahman, with all of these other concepts and layers of interaction. But that at the end of the day, or underneath all of that, there simply is that basic reality of life, right? And so when we get into that state of mind where it's too much effort to try to make something more out of what's in front of you, to try to make something more out of what's inside of you, that it's really okay, and I'm reminding myself of this as I'm saying it, that it's really okay to fall back on that really basic understanding that whatever's in front of you, as boring as it is, as meaningless as it seems like it could be, as routine, as mundane, or as elaborate, whatever that experience is at the moment, is that it's all just resting on that simplicity. It's all resting on that basic reality that this is just life, right? Whatever is happening, it's just life. And if you can let yourself rest on that, then we don't get so caught in that feeling that there's supposed to be something more, right? Because the desire to somehow create something more, something different, is what keeps us caught in that grip of disappointment, which is that edge of suffering, right? To be disappointed in what's happening right now, whatever it happens to be. So for me, it's the reminder that there's a simplicity to what we're doing, and that as much as there is a beauty in trying to make it seem more elaborate, more interesting, more whatever, is it's also good to just let it be what it is. And that it's completely your inner state of understanding that either brings it to a place of enlightenment or leaves it in a place that is something other than that. So that's what we're practicing, is we're just here to practice life, right? And anything more complicated than that that goes on in your head, turn it into chopping wood and carrying water. Make it simple. Go back to there's an easiness to rest on. Because if we can go back to that, yoga says that we start to realize what the true reality is, right? We start to get beneath those layers of perception and we start to rest on what's really just there, right? So let your mind go a little bit. I'm letting mine go too. Eyes closed. And just start to relax. Relax into your tight shoulder blades. Relax into the tightness in your jaw. It's not going anywhere, just let it be there. Relax into your skin, into your hair. Get rid of your nice meditation posture. Let yourself settle into the heaviness of your skeleton, the heaviness of the muscles that overlay it. Settle into that feeling that there's an actual tangibleness to your breath, and there's a weight to your mind. And maybe the mind is frantic, and maybe the mind is lethargic, and it doesn't matter. I want you to get to the layer beneath where any of that matters, or beyond where any of that matters, because you're just here to practice. You're just here to live. So you'll carry all of that nonsense around with you, and it doesn't matter, because you're here to live. So settle into a space where there's just the simplicity of here I am. And every time you try to make it complicated, take it back to that. Here I am. And take one more breath into that incredible simplicity that we can't believe is the goal of all of this. And then bring your hands to heart center with no intention, no desire, just holding that space. The only effort is to hold that space sacred so that nothing interferes. We'll open with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. And let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release your hands, please. Then bring the hands to the front of the knees or the thighs and just start to cat-cow your spine. And I like the energy of having your hands be an actual anchor on your legs. So again, you're keeping that heaviness and you're using your arms almost like a straight bracket so that as you lift your spine forward and draw it back, that you're really moving between, you're bringing the rib cage between the arms in both directions. Good. So my encouragement is to not bend your elbows on your movement, is to keep your arms almost straight, not locked, but straight. And really reach from the bigness of your spine. So it's the expansion of the chest and it's the expansion of the back rib cage that creates the action. Good. It's a stretching of the belly, a stretching of the lower spine. Nice. Good. And then find yourself coming back to stillness, please. Take your hands back behind your head, elbows wide. Good. Cup your elbows forward just a little bit so you're squeezing your elbows in. So it's going to take that overstretch out of the front of your shoulder joints, and then dig those elbows down in space. So instead of them pointing so far up, draw them down like you're trying to pull the shoulders down away from the ears. Good. And then twist to your right, please. Yeah. So as you twist, that left elbow is going to want to fall forward to convince you that you're twisting deeper than you are. So keep it drawing back, but still squeeze the armpits towards each other. And then draw your low belly in, your right rib cage draws back and in, and then twist a little deeper because you've drawn into yourself a little more. Good. Nice. And then come back to center, please. Deep breath in. Find that center place where, again, the elbows cup forward, elbows dig down. So your shoulder girdle is awake, and then twist to your left. Good. And then again, into that twist is you're not pulling forward with the elbow, but you're drawing, excuse me, you're drawing in through that left low rib cage and you're pulling that back in space. And that's going to spin your right rib cage forward a little more. Good. And then bring it back to center, please. Stretch the arms all the way up to the sky. Interlace your fingers, press heels of the hands up. And as you push up, pull your shoulders up to your ears. So pull everything up. Pull your shoulders up to your ears. So get your side body as long as it can go. And then keep that there. Drag those armpits down and push up through the crown of your head to widen the space between your shoulders and your ears. So don't get stuck in that I have to pull myself shorter in order to make more space. Good. Low ribs draw in, push into your seat. One more breath, push out through those hands. Good. And then release the hands out and down. So what did they say? Fan the auric field. Get the full stretch of the arms. Good. And then take your right leg out wide to the right. Bring the left heel, keep it in towards the groin or in towards the center of the body. So like a half Baddha Konasana. Good. And then walk the right arm inside your right leg. So you're reaching towards that inner right heel. Good. Moving the side body nice and long. Turn your left rib cage open, please, and then take the left arm over the ear. Good. Reaching, reaching, reaching. Pressing down through your left sit bone. Good. Make sure that your right foot is not falling out to the side. So keep the big toe pulling in just a little bit, the inner thigh rooting down. Good. And then scoop and round into that left side body. So I want you to actually round your right rib cage more so your left side body arcs a little bit more. Good. And then bend your right elbow, the one that's over your ear. Place that hand behind your heart, or the back of your neck. So you're pointing your elbow straight over the crown of your head. Good. So it's like you're doing a tricep stretch, but you're not actually reaching for that upper elbow. Good. Nice, you guys. Harriet, drop that right shoulder back and wide so the arm holding you. Yeah, one more breath, you guys. Lean. Good. And then come all the way back up to center, please. Nice job. Stretch both hands forward, straight ahead of you. Walk straight ahead, forward fold. Yeah. Keeping that feeling of the inner groins pulling back and down. Good. Reaching from the back of your sacrum. So lengthen the top of your sacrum up towards the front of your mat, but then pull your tail back and down towards the back of your mat. Good. Nice, you guys. And then walk yourself back up, please. Nice. Take your right hand to your left knee. Left hand comes behind you, spinal twist. Good. Nice. And again, you're drawing the ribs in and you're dropping your seat back and down. So I want you to really get into your back rib cage here and drop the pelvis. Good. And then keep the right hand where it is. Take the left arm up over the ear and lean over that right leg again. Good. So you're using that right knee as an anchor again. So you have something to actually draw yourself deeper into that twist. So that right shoulder is drawing onto the middle of your back, arm bone is pulling in, and then you're scooping into your navel and opening the chest towards the sky. Yeah. Nice. And then bring it all the way back up. Nice, you guys. Release the twist and switch the legs. Please take your left leg out and wide. Draw the right heel in. Half Baddha Konasana on the other side. Left hand walks inside towards the left heel. Good. Turn the ribs open. So again, I want you to get into that space between the shoulder and the hip. Right arm comes over the ear. Good. Reach long. Nice. You know, it's a strange thing to really just not extrapolate on whatever it is that you're doing, to not keep telling yourself a story about it, good or bad, but to go back to it being really, really simple, that this is just life. Arc into that right rib cage a little more, so round into it a little more. Good. And then bend your left elbow, or sorry, it's your right elbow, the arm that's over the ear, and take that hand back behind the heart. So not behind the head, slide it down more so that the length of your upper arm, there you go, Lisa, okay, good, is reaching, your elbow tip is pointing towards the top of your head, and then reach a little further. Good. Alice, just press your head back a little bit more so that your elbow is in line with the rest of your side body. It looks like it's falling forward a little bit. Good. Lean, lean, lean. Nice, you guys. And then bring yourself all the way back up. Good. Take both hands forward. Walk yourself straight ahead. Forward fold. Again, drawing that left inner thigh down and back a little more. So your left toes, your big toe mound is pulling inward. So the foot is not falling out to the side. It's staying straight up and down. Good. I think it's those really simple little anchoring things that help keep the mind from going off on tangents, that keep it from going off into trying to over exaggerate whatever it is that we feel or whatever it is that's going on. The simplicity is very hard to live with. Can you keep dropping into that it really doesn't matter what you do or don't do in this pose, but do your best to give your body a chance to relax. Walk yourself back up. Good. Take the left hand to the right knee, please. So come into spinal twist. Right hand comes behind you. And when I say it doesn't matter, it doesn't mean that there's no significance to what you're doing. It means that the significance of it is not what you assume it to be, right? Start to draw your rib cage back and in again, so you're getting full in the back body, and then let yourself twist open a little more because you have drawn that left rib cage forward and your right rib cage has softened back. Good. And then keep that left hand where it is. Take the right arm up alongside your ear. Lean over the left leg. Good. Opening the chest as much as you can. Draw the throat back, head back. Good. It might even feel good to bring that right arm into cactus arms here. Like what happens if you bend your elbow and start to drag that armpit down and then push up through the crown of your head? Good. Do you like that better? Nice. And then slowly release, come all the way back up. Some of you are shaking your head. No, you did not like that better, which is okay. Bring both of the feet together, bottoms of the feet together, Baddha Konasana. Good. Curl your toes back away from each other. Push the baby toes into the floor. Reach for the underside of your ankles and pull up. Yeah. So your hands can be on the outside of the legs, but I want you to reach all the way around to the underside of the ankles and pull up. So Mark, switch your hands so that you're reaching around the front of your legs. Yep, and pull up. So it's like you're trying to lift your feet up off the floor, but you're not actually going to lift them up. So I want that lifting up and the pushing down of your groins. Now bend your elbows wide. Bring yourself forward into your forward fold. Elbows can come in front of the knees. They don't have to be on the knees. That's totally a body proportion thing. Good. But I want you to keep pulling up on your ankles. Keep pulling up on your shins. Good. And pressing your seat back. Draw the crown of the head forward more to widen your shoulders away from your ears. Good. One more breath where you're at. Nice. And then bring yourself all the way back up. Nice job, you guys. Cross the ankles, roll forward onto hands and knees. Come into downward facing dog. Good. And then bend your knees, please, nice and deep in your down dog. Send your hips back in space. Cat-cow the upper spine. Again, so the arms become that strong bracket and you're moving your rib cage forward and back between that. So there's a rounding of pulling up towards the ceiling in your exhale that's really important. Good. Nice, you guys. The simplicity is that there's nowhere to go in a pose. It's like its own static reality, or that's the way that we can look at it, is that while you are in a pose, is that is the entire world. So it's simple, and yet you can bring all of your ability to become still or to become balanced or to become happy. All of those things can settle themselves in that one form, that one moment. Because if we can do that consistently, we stay in a state of really just being in the reality of being happy, being still, being balanced. Good. Come back to stillness, straighten the legs, take your hips high to the sky, and then soften the heels towards the floor. Feel your whole breath, that you're pulling back through the length of your spine, and you're pulling down through the length of your legs. Good. And then right leg comes up and back behind you, down dog split, stretch it up. Nice. And then step that right foot between the hands, lunge. Good. Drop the back heel, baby toe parallels the back of your mat. Cartwheel the arms up, warrior two. Good. Squeeze the feet towards each other. Good. Look where that front knee is going. Yeah. Nice. And then turn your palms up to face the ceiling, please. Bend your elbows and bring the tips of your fingers up to the tops of your shoulders. And then make little circles with your elbows. Good. Don't make your circles dramatic circles, though. Some of you are circling so darn hard that you're like rocking your pose from forward to back. You're just moving your shoulders. Settle down. Good. Come to stillness, please. Pull those elbows nice and high. Pull the shoulders nice and high. Good. And then push up through the crown of the head and lengthen out through the tips of your elbows. So pull out from that space at the center of your back. Good. And then squeeze your lower armpits back in. Nice. And then go ahead, stretch the arms out wide, letter T. Good. Drop the left hand down the back thigh, right arm reaches up and back, reverse warrior. Nice. And then stay in that backwards reach. Start to straighten the front thigh. Good. Push that left shin back up against your hand. Nice. Keep reaching. Pull up through that right hip point. Yes. And then bring your torso back up to letter T. So shoulders come back over the hips. Deep breath in. And then reach the right rib cage forward for Trikonasana. Extend. And then let that right hand touch down. Left arm to the sky. Good. Yeah, a hand can be on the floor or a block. And then I want you to watch that rib cage again, that you are softening your front rib cage in. So it's almost like you're trying to round into your back body even more than is normal, so that you really get a sensation of falling back into the back body, that there's no sense of forward momentum at all. Good. And then from there, work at working the rib cage open more. So Lisa P, draw your ribs in more, and then see if you can actually send your right butt cheek back and in. Nice, you guys. Good. Deep breath. Nice job. Bend the front knee, please. Release both hands down to the floor. Keep your back heel where it is. Both hands come inside the front foot. Walk to your left just a little bit until you start to feel some resistance. Keep your front knee pointing forward over the second or third toe of the front foot. Good. Don't let your right butt cheek pop out to the side. Nice. So squeeze that right butt cheek in. Widen the front knee just a little bit inside of the knee. Yeah. Good. One more breath. Bend the elbows a little bit. Drop yourself into the pose a little more. Chest goes wider. Nice. And then walk your hands back in, please. Walk all the way to your left until you come to the center of your mat. Turn the right toes, straighten both legs. Prasarita Padottanasana. Good. Nice, you guys. Take one more breath. Enjoy this pose as something simple. Not as a segue to an elaborate twist, not as a segue to something else. Just a wide-legged forward fold. Because what else do you really need? Good. Bring your hands to your hips, please. Come all the way up to stand. It's one of the challenges with vinyasa, right? Is that if you are looking at the flow of things, you might always be looking for what's coming next. Heel toe your feet a little bit closer and then turn both feet out. Good. Bend both knees, come into a high squat. Stretch your arms out wide. Right arm comes over top of left in front of your chest. Wrap the arms for eagle. Good. Draw your low rib cage in. Don't obsess about if you are dropping your hips low enough. Let gravity bring your hips low as your thighs go wide. Good. Deep breath in. Release the arms out. Switch to the other side. Don't be dramatic about it. Fall into your feet. Your feet get wider as you drop your weight into them. Hug your forearms and widen your chest. Good. And then release the arms, release the legs, come all the way up to stand. Nice job. Turn your toes forward again, so parallel the feet back to those wide legs. Good. Take your hands back behind you, either holding opposite elbows or interlacing the fingers. Deep breath in. Either way, deep breath in. Draw your rib cage back and in. Start to bow forward again, taking the tops of the thighs back. Good. Hips go to the sky as you bring your spine forward, crown of the head reaching for the floor. If you are holding opposite elbows, keep letting your elbows fall forward so that you're keeping as much contact through your forearms and your back as you can. Good. And then really scoop your low belly, everybody. Push your sacrum up to the sky, push into your heels, and drop your head lower, like you're going to fold underneath yourself. That's it. And then release the hands down to the floor. Good job. Walk yourself back towards the top of your mat. Right toes turn forward, step back, downward facing dog. Good. Deep breath in, deeper breath out. And then left leg comes up and back, down dog split. Good. Step the foot forward between the hands, lunge. Drop the back heel, baby toe parallels the back of your mat, warrior two, cartwheel the arms up. Remember, it is completely your state of mind that turns this pose into something difficult or something that is effortless, easeful. Right? We say traditionally that warrior two is that how you are moving into the future, how you are connecting from your intentions or where you're going from your past, blah, 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 blah. Where are you right now is really warrior two, is where the heck are you? Not where have I been, where am I going? Where are you? And where is your mind? Where is your gaze? That's why we keep saying, where are you looking? Good. Drop that back hand down the back thigh, left palm spins up and back, reverse warrior. It's extra funny to me because I love the symbology of the poses. I love that there is a language that is embedded in our psyche that is associated with these practices, and that it's not just the physical, you're doing exercise. And at the same time, don't get stuck in that. Straighten the left leg, please. Still in that reverse warrior, keep reaching, pull up through that left hip point, right? When we use that symbology or that language to make things complicated, it means that we push it further away from ourselves. We push it further away from embodying it. Come back up to center, arms wide. Move into Trikonasana, extend that left rib cage forward, reach, 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 like it's like your ribs are an extension of your back leg. And then let the left hand touch down and the right arm reaches up to the sky. Good, using blocks if you need. Nice, watch that that arm that's above you is not falling behind your shoulder. So Margie, bring that hand forward in space. Linda, bring it forward in space. Jen C, bring it forward in space. Good, and then when the arm comes forward and you release that tension at the front of your shoulder joint, you can pull your ribs back and in. So round your back like crazy, you guys. Round your upper backs like you're doing cat-cow. Round your back, round your back, round your back. More. Good. Now keep that roundness and draw your throat back. Move your rib cage open. Don't push back more. Rotate more. Don't bring your hand with you. Good. Yeah, it's going to feel really weird, like you're not getting where you think you should go. Congratulations. You're not trying to get anywhere. This is the whole world, this moment, this pose. Relax in it. Good. Bend that left knee again, please. Release both hands down to the floor. Keep your back heel where it is. Good. Walk to your right just a little bit until you start to feel resistance. Keep that front knee pointing forward. Now this is the whole world. Relax here. Keep that left butt cheek pulling in towards your midline. Yeah. Good. All of the games of the mind that makes things complicated pushes the truth further away from being reality, pushes it somewhere that we can't grasp hold of. So if the truth is that there's just life, the truth is that there's just Brahman, they say the underlying everything, then what else is there to say, right? Embody that, whatever it looks like. Bring it back towards the top of your mat, please. Good, change my mind. Lied, walk back to your right. Back to the center of your mat, sorry, I said it wrong. Straighten the legs, Prasarita Padottanasana. Good. I did want you to come back here. My brain got distracted. Good, hold opposite elbows, please, so that you are hanging. Bend your knees just a little bit and let yourself move from side to side, almost like you're gonna come into a side lunge, but don't come into a full side lunge. Move your hips from side to side. Let the arms sway from side to side. Basically, I want you in your forward fold, but I don't want your legs locked. I don't want your spine locked. I don't want your mind locked. Good. And then resettle yourself into stillness in a way that feels like you are expanding here, like you're pushing up through your seat, like you're pulling down through your heels, but your legs are not stuck. They're just getting infinitely longer. And your spine is getting infinitely longer. Shoulders falling towards the floor. Crown of the head falling towards the floor. Good. And then bring your hands to your hips, please. Come all the way up to stand. Nice. Heel toe your feet just a little closer. Turn both feet out. Bend the knees. Come back to your high squat. Good. Take the arms up alongside your ears. Interlace the fingers. Press heels of the hands up to the sky. Good. Pull your low rib cage in. At the same time you pull your low rib cage in, pull in your low belly and lift your hip points up. Drop your tail. So it's like you're trying to pull the whole front of your body towards itself. Good. And then let your thighs go wide and see how deep your pelvis wants to go. Ah ha ha. Nice. And then come all the way back up to straight. Turn the toes forward, reach the hands back behind you, hold opposite elbows again, other arm on top if you'd like, or interlace the fingers, deep breath in, bow forward. Good. With a wide open chest, if you're clasping the hands, you can bring the arms up and over if you'd like. My suggestion is to try to keep your inner elbows turned towards each other because they have a tendency to rotate in, and then we hyperextend the arms. So try to pull those elbows wide. Good. Drop your elbows towards your low back if you're holding opposite forearms. Release the hands down to the floor. Nice, you guys. Walk back towards the top of your mat. Left toes turn forward. Good. Step your right foot forward alongside the left, standing forward fold. Uttanasana. Good. Don't let your legs lock. Bring your shins forward. Bring your knees forward. You cannot relax in a pose if your joints are locked. You cannot find a real sense of peace if you are creating tension in your physical body. Bend your knees, drop your hips low, take your arms up alongside your ears, chair. So can you be like one of those bendy dolls, right? One of those bendy guys that you can literally tie in knots. Can you be like that every pose that you're in, you're there with a softness that says, I'm ready to move out of this at any moment, right? I'm in it, but I'm ready to move out of it. Hands at heart center, not because I'm trying to escape, but because why would I hold on to this? Right elbow to left knee, prayer twist. And that's such an interesting question to keep asking yourself whenever your mind starts to get tight. Why would I hold on to this? Why? When there's so much spaciousness, so much simplicity that might be there if I don't hang on. What is the benefit? Come back to center, deep breath in, twist the other way, left elbow to the outside of the right knee. And as usual, I'm using you guys as just an outside form of my own inner dialogue. Why am I holding on to the crazy things that I'm holding on to? Why am I getting grippy in my mind about this and that and the other thing? What is the benefit? It's fun to make myself crazy. It is. Good. Come back to center. Deep breath in. Good. Come all the way up to stand, please. Keep the hands at the heart center. Keep taking the heart up to the sky. Stand as tall as you can. Press through your heels. And as the hands at heart center start to lift, 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 tilt your heart towards the sky. Draw those lower armpits back like you're doing a standing back bend. Keep letting yourself fall back and fall back and fall back. Long through your throat. Push down through your heels. Keep the tops of your thighs lifting and pulling back. Fall back, fall back, fall back, fall back. Keep going. Good. Yeah, draw those lower armpits back and wide, Gen C. Yes, there you go. And then let your throat fall back. Yes. And then pull yourself all the way back up to center. Really good, you guys. Good. Release the hands down, stretch the arms around and up. Deep breath in. Exhale, bow forward. Good. Step your right leg way back behind you, lunge. Drop the back knee. Bring both hands inside the front foot. Good. Walk to the upper right-hand corner of your mat and fall onto your forearms or blocks. Good. Simplicity. What did I do today? I chopped wood and carried water. And isn't that enough? Why is it that there's the constant desire to create something more than that? Because it's the mind that decides if those things are meaningful or not. It's the mind that decides what the essence of life is. And if it's been trained to always look for something more, it starts to ignore those simple things that make up the foundation of just living. We lose the simplicity of who and what we are. What's real gets further and further away because we say it can't possibly be this. It's not what I imagined. Good. Bring yourself a little closer and stay on your forearms if you can. Turn your right forearm so it parallels the top of your mat and hold your left ankle with your right hand. Take your left arm to the sky. Twist. So again, you're on your right forearm if you can. Good. Draw that right shoulder and upper chest wide. So fall back on that forearm a little bit more. Draw your throat back. Good. Nice, you guys. Try to bring your shoulder in line with your hand if your hand is back behind your shoulder. Yep. Good. And then release, come all the way back up onto the hands. Nice job. Lift your back knee up. Take that left leg, up and back to down dog split. Good. Bend the knee, kick the heel in towards your butt. Stack the left hip on top of the right. Open, open, open. Good. Come up onto your right fingertips as you do that. So again, you're getting a little lighter on that right side that's holding you. Good. And then release that right hand flat to the floor, please. Bring the left knee forward towards your nose, squeeze it in, and then shoot that leg all the way out to the right. Good. Onto the baby toe edge of your foot. Take your right foot to flat, right arm to the sky. Open, open, open. Good. Your hand is way back behind your shoulder. Bring your shoulder back to meet your hand. Bring your chest open more. Yeah. Nice, you guys. And then slowly release. Bring it all the way back, downward facing dog. Nice job. Slide forward to plank pose. Lower down to your belly. Good. Rise up, cobra. Lift head, neck, and chest. And then release back to your belly and rest. You make a little pillow with your hands and rest your forehead there if you'd like. Turn one cheek to the side. The elaborate dream that you have for your life, the elaborate dream that you have for yourself. You put it aside for a second. Don't abandon it, because that elaborate dream is something beautiful. Even if it includes all of those aspects of life that are challenging. It's the poetry, right? I've been reading the Mandukya Upanishad again, and it talks about Om, and it talks about this underlying reality beneath everything, the Brahman. Simple foundation that says this is just what it means to exist. This is just what it means to be. And everything else is this elaborate overlay. And it's beautiful. It even says in the translation that I'm reading that this universe is like a vast poem. A beautiful piece of music. But if you are caught in the melody and you forget the simplicity, you lose yourself. So within that elaborate dream of who you are and what your life is meant to be, can you come back to that feeling of this is what it means to just live, just practicing life. And every breath you take is that victory, the knowing that life is continuing through you. So you celebrate it, because what else are you here to do? You're here to breathe, you're here to live. So within the elaborate dream, can you feel the foundation of what it is to just be? And if not, keep breathing. That's good enough. That too will bring you back to yourself. Walk yourself back up to hands and knees, please. Walk your hands back, push up to hands and knees. Stretch your right arm out wide to the right. Slide behind your left wrist, right shoulder to the floor. Good, reaching the left arm forward, pressing into your shins, scooping the low belly just a little bit so you're keeping that fullness of the low back. In modern American life, we wouldn't so much say chopping wood and carrying water, but we would say I do the dishes. I wash my underwear. I feed the dog. Scoop the cat box. Over and over and over again, I do these things. And I crave something more. Come back up onto hands and knees. Switch to the other side. Got left arm wide, sliding behind the right wrist. Shoulder finds the floor. Walk the right arm forward to straight. And the craving something more is not at all wrong, because there is more to who and what we are. It's not the full extent. But those things that are the foundation of living, like those mundane things, that they are equally important, equally meaningful to anything else that you do. So if you do them with love, you do them with attention, you do them with awareness, we call that enlightenment. When your state of mind is in a place that realizes the unity of all things, then there's no more craving, because scooping the cat box is all you need. Doing the dishes is all you need. You get to play again, you get to enjoy, because you're not looking for that to fulfill you. Come back up to hands and knees. Sounds like it should be simple, doesn't it? It's not. Or it is, but getting there is challenging for the mind. Downward facing dog. That's why we practice. We practice getting out of the elaborateness of the mind. Good. The right foot steps forward between the hands. Yep. Drop the back knee, please. Take both hands inside the front foot. Walk to the upper left-hand corner of your mat, and again, fall down onto the forearms or your blocks. Good. And I could go into a whole dissertation about what that back thigh should be doing, and don't drop your pelvis, and don't push forward through the front of your thigh, and make sure your front knee is not widening out to the side. Make sure that your weight is balanced, big toe and baby toe mound of your front foot. Send your groins back, please, and soften your shoulders, and move your chest wider, and lengthen the back of your throat. Make yourself so insane that you can't enjoy this pose at all. Or in other words, pay attention to what it feels like to have a balanced pelvis. Try to draw that right hip in and find where the hips are happy. Find a space where you're not collapsing in your chest or holding tension in your neck. Whatever that position is, do it. Because all of the cues is that that's the goal, is to bring you to a place where you can relax in this moment, this form. Becomes the whole universe, the whole of creation, the whole world is right now. So find your peace, your happiness, your fulfillment now, because it's not anywhere else. I'm sorry if this isn't the pose you hoped it would be. This is not the pose you thought would be your enlightenment. Good. Stay on the forearms. If you can, walk yourself a little closer in, turn your left forearm parallel to the top of your mat, reach to hold the right ankle, take the right arm up to the sky, spinal twist. So you're falling onto that forearm, onto the elbow, move the shoulders back. Good, move your belly back away from your thigh. Try to stay anchored into that big toe mound of that right foot. Good, bring your shoulder back in line with your hand. So as much as you want to pull your hand back, you got to bring your shoulder back first. Good. Nice, nice, nice. Throat back, Sarah. Really good, Jessica. Nice, Linda. Nice, Margie. Nice, Laura. Good. And then slowly release. Come all the way back up. Come on to the hands. Please lift the back knee. Take your right leg up and back behind you. Down, dog split. Good. Bend the knee. Please kick your heel in towards your butt. Stack the right hip on top of the left. And I do think it's important to be equally comfortable in that contradictoriness of sometimes the cues, you want to get so into those that it creates a holding. And then sometimes you want to abandon them completely. Up on your left fingertips, please. There you go. Good. And then release the left hand flat to the floor. Bring your right knee forward towards your nose. Yep. Armpits come forward, and then shoot that right leg out to the left. Baby toe, edge of the foot finds the floor. Flex a lot. Drop your left heel flat. Left arm comes to the sky. Push down into that right hand, but pull the right arm bone up into the shoulder socket. And then think about opening your pelvis to the sky. Good. We get into the, oh, can I turn my ribs, and can I pull my throat back, and can I do all of that? But can you turn your hips to the sky here? Good. Nice. And then bring it all the way back. Nice, nicely done, you guys. Downward facing dog. Slide forward to plank pose. Lower down slow. Come through knees if you need, onto your belly. Good. Bend your knees, kick your heels in towards your butt. Optional here, reach back for right hand for right ankle, left hand for left ankle. That's not the option. Well, it is. If your hands are not going to reach back for that, then that's fine. You can keep your hands at your ribs. But the optional 2 poses here is you can either go into frog, which is going to be more of a thigh stretch and more of a shoulder opener. That's you keeping your thighs on the floor, your heels in towards your butt, and bending the elbows up towards the ceiling to lift the chest. Or you can come into upward bow, which is still going to be a thigh stretch, still going to be a shoulder opener, but it's more of a back bend. So your choice. Upward bow means that you're kicking your feet back into your hands. You're lifting your thighs up as you lift your head, neck, and chest, coming into that full back bend. Or you're keeping your heels in towards your butt, thighs on the ground, bend the elbows, and just work the thighs and the shoulders. Nice, you guys. Throat moves back. Good. If you're in upward bow, play with rocking forward and back maybe, or at least shifting your weight. Maybe bend your elbows and kick your feet into your hands. Try to bring your knees down to the floor to lift your chest higher. Good. Good. Deep breath in wherever you're at. And then release, please. Good. Again, resting on the belly, forehead to the floor, resting on your hands or one cheek to the side. I want you to breathe very deeply into your back body. I want you to feel the freedom of breathing deeply into your back body, into the back of your sacrum. And then I want you to notice the feeling of breathing into the front of your body and how your belly pushes against the floor, how the front of your ribs push against the floor. The solidness of that can be a comfort, right? The solidness of those daily routines, the things that anchor you into this reality. Because while we want to recognize that there is a deeper truth to who and what we are, you can't lose sight of this is where you are. Here I am. I'm in a physical body. I have a physical mind. What am I doing with it? And is what I'm doing a real representation of living? Or is my mind on autopilot and I'm just doing things without a sense of purpose or meaning? Am I always craving something other than what my life needs me to do? How do we release the craving? We come back to there's simply just this. There's just life, and I'm practicing it. And what I do in those simple, meaningless, mundane moments is equally important to anything else that I will ever do. So can I just be here? Because this is the whole world, this moment. Walk your hands back, please. Press up to hands and knees. Do some fun little hip circling. In case your mind wanted to think that hip circling was boring, I just told you that it's not. It's fun hip circling. Move your hips the other way. Good. And then drop yourself back to child's pose, please. Bring the knees wide, big toes to touch. Drop the hips back to your heels. Good. We often suggest doing practices in a very repetitive way, partially so that you will help the mind get used to creating rhythms or used to creating patterns that are uplifting, that are helpful, that are uniting your sense of different layers of yourself, your own perceptions. Walk your torso to the right, please. And at the same time, then we turn around and say that your practice shouldn't be the same every day because your body and your mind is not the same every day. It's important to be contradictory and be perfectly okay with that. Come back to center, please. Walk to your left. And all of it works because the underlying unity of everything does not shift. The body and the mind are shifting all the time, but that underlying sense of this is just life doesn't go anywhere. Can you start to fall through your own stories about the elaborate dream that your life is meant to be? Come back to center. Until you end up in a place that every little minuscule piece of your life becomes important to you. Not because it's elaborate, not because it's significant, but because it's the actual act of living. Walk yourself back up. And that in itself means that it's the most important thing you can do. Bring your legs out in front of you. This is a good pep talk for me. I'm going to enjoy listening to this again later. Good. Right leg stays stretched out in front of you. Bring your left knee in towards your chest. It's also important to laugh at yourself. If you take yourself very seriously, then you're going to have a hard time with life. It's my theory anyway. Bring your left foot over your right thigh, so cross it over the leg. Good. And then wrap your right arm around the front of that left knee. Bring your left hand behind you. Come into spinal twist again, pulling the thigh up into your belly. Good. Don't let your right toes fall into a strange direction. Keep them straight up and down. Yeah. Squeeze yourself in. Draw your belly up. Good. Nice, you guys. One more breath. Squeeze the knee in. Beautiful. And then release the twist. Keep the leg where it is. Take both hands to the outside of your right hip. So come into the counter twist, but your knee stays crossed or your foot stays crossed. Good. So you're dropping your left sit bone back and down as you look to the right. Good. And try and lift your chest nice and high and wide. Draw your throat back. So sit taller, Margie. That's it. Good, Mark. Good, Jen. Good, Karen. Nice, Alice. And then bring yourself back to center, please. Good. Take that left foot back to the inside of the right foot and give it a little bit of space. So move it just a little bit wider towards the left, but keep the knee pointing up. So you're just moving the foot a little wider away from the thigh. Good. So Jessica's keep your hips facing straight ahead. Don't widen. Yeah. Because you're keeping that left foot flat to the floor with the knee up. There you go. All right, you guys. Left arm comes up alongside your ear, please. Yep. Reach that left shoulder inside your left knee, like you're reaching for your extended foot. Good. And then, so you're leaning forward as much as you can into that forward fold. And then you're going to wrap that left arm around the front of your left shin. That's the option anyway. You might just bend your elbow and bring your left hand to the floor so your arms are in like spider arms with the elbows wide. That's one variation. But forearm in front of your shin, Sarah. Yep. Good. So the right arm can either reach back behind you to come into the full bind, so you're reaching around to find your left hand, or again, it can be on the floor again, arms in like spider arms. Good. I know Mark's looking at me like I'm speaking another language. It's okay. So you can see what Caroline is doing, right? That the forearm is in front of the shin and her arms are wide. So try just that. Forward fold, deep forward fold. And then for those of you who already understand the bind and you're going for it, you're right where you need to be. Good. One more deep breath. This is again just to get into your hips, your shoulders, and then slowly release. Good. Don't worry if that didn't make any sense to you. It is not important. Stretch the left leg forward. Good. Inhale both arms to the sky. Take a straight forward fold just to let your mind go somewhere other than wondering what just happened. Yeah. It's interesting to me is that position is in the Marichasana series. I believe it's Marichasana 2. And I believe, if I'm correct, that the character that's named after is actually a shape-shifting demon. Come all the way back up. If I'm correct, it's the Marichasana from the Ramayana. Trivia for you. All right, second side. Left leg stays extended, please. Bend your right knee. Good. Start with crossing the right foot over the left thigh. So the spinal twist. The left arm wraps around the right knee. Right hand comes behind you. Turning to your right. Pull that thigh up towards your belly. Lift your belly up towards that thigh. Good. So this is, again, to try and open up that space of the outer thigh, your outer hip. Nice. Good. The ability to shift shapes and have no question about who you are beyond all those forms. Good. Keep the leg where it is. Release the twist. Bring your arms to both hands to the outside of your left hip. So you're turning in the opposite direction. Come into the counter twist. Good. And the tendency is going to be, and you see Carolina doing it, leaning a lot to that left side. So try and keep your hips flat to the floor and stay as upright with your spine as you can, just bringing both hands to the outside of the left shin. Good. That's what I'm going to do more of. I'm just going to nitpick my models while they're practicing. I'm not going to do that. I'm kidding. I'm going to keep nitpicking all of you equally. Good. Come back to center, please. Nice. So uncross the foot, please. Bring that right foot back to the inside. And then you're sending the heel a little bit wider to the right. So you're making space between your left thigh and your right foot. They should not be touching each other. And then right arm comes up alongside your ear. You got to bring that shoulder around and in. So you got to do this little swivel move to get your right shoulder as deeply forward and inside that right knee as possible. Good. Then you're just going to start by bending the elbow, place the hand to the floor. So your forearm, your elbow and forearm are pushing, or upper arm are pushing against the front of your shin. And your chest is moving forward in a forward fold. And you can have both hands in those spider arms. So the left hand can come to the floor outside the left leg, elbows wide, chest wide, if that's as far as you're going. You got it. If you're going for the bind, the right arm wraps all the way around the front shin and the left arm wraps around your lower back to try and find your hand. You got to squeeze that right knee in here. Otherwise, it's going to pull a lot on that right shoulder. So squeeze that right thigh in. Good. And open your chest. Nice, you guys. Good, Laura. Beautiful. Yeah, and so sometimes we come into a little bit of the deeper twist here. Sometimes we really work the forward fold. So either one that you're doing looks really good. Beautiful. And then slowly come on out. Nice. Stretch the legs straight out in front of you. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Bow forward. Good. Practicing your shape-shifty demon powers. I think, though, that one of those dreams or the goal of yoga is to be able to answer the question, if you could be anyone, anything, what would you be? And for the answer to be who I am. Wouldn't that be great? Bring yourself all the way back up, please. Bend your knees, plant your feet in front of you. Take your hands back behind you, scoot forward on your mat if you need to. Fingers pointing towards your heels if they can. If they have to turn out a little bit, that's fine. My suggestion is to give yourself plenty of room. Maybe move your hands a little bit wider right and left, especially if your shoulders or your neck tend to be a little tight these days. Move your hands wider so you have more space. And then bend your elbows just a little bit. Good. Yep. So you get the wideness of your chest and the arm bones pulling in towards the center of your back. Press into your feet, lift your hips, come into reverse table. Good. So you're moving your weight forward towards the mounds of your toes or towards the balls of your feet. Jessica, just turn your feet in just a little bit further so they're more parallel. There you go. Good. And you're reaching as long as you can. Pull your tail towards your heels and then just lift your chest to the sky and drop your throat back a little more. Yeah. Good. Deep breath in. And then release the hips down. Nicely done. Good. Bring the bottoms of the feet together. Let the knees drop open. Stretch your arms wide. Palms facing up. Good. So reach wide through the chest. That's it. And then cross the arms in front of you. Wrap the arms in a hug across the front of your body. And a hug like you are trying to reach your fingers towards the opposite shoulder blade. So you're hugging so deeply that you're trying to literally wrap your fingers under the edge of your shoulder blades. That's how much you're reaching. Good. So it's cute to just say you're giving yourself a hug. It's even better to say that I'm actually internally rotating my arms and trying to stretch my back. Good. Stretch the arms out wide again. Turn the palms up. That's what I mean about making things complicated, right? You can make it complicated or you can just do what feels good. Good. Switch the cross of the arms. Hug the other direction. Other arm on top. And you still are giving yourself a hug. So if that's what needs to be happening in your perception, don't miss the opportunity to actually hug yourself, to give yourself loving kindness, to give yourself the benefit of knowing that it's difficult to be in a place that is simple and not to be craving something more, or to be wondering if there's something missing. And to really just acknowledge the simple truth that you're enough, because how could you not be? Another interesting question, how could you possibly not be enough? Release the hands, please. Go ahead, scoot yourself forward, come onto your backs. Like I said, I'll be very interested to listen to this myself later and pretend to believe it. I'm just kidding. Right? But this is it, is that there's the voice in your mind that tells you the truth, and then there's the voice in your mind that says, but I have this elaborate dream that is other than that, feels like it's other than that. So where does your mind rest more often? In the simple truths, or does it rest in the complicated, elaborate dream? Right ankle on top of left thigh. Lift your left shin up parallel to the floor, reach through to hold. And again, you can make this as complicated as you'd like with all of the cues about making sure that your weight is balanced, left side of your sacrum and right side. So a little more weight onto the left side of your sacrum is usual. Flexing the feet, scooping into the low belly, pushing out through your tail. Do all of that. And then realize that it doesn't matter how well you do all of that. What matters is, can you relax in this pose and feel like there is meaningful engagement? You are 100% yourself in this moment. Good. Keep holding the thigh, please. Extend your left heel straight up towards the ceiling. Good. Ankle is still crossed. Push the thigh back against your hands. Root that left side of your sacrum a little bit more now. So I want you to actually push down into your lower back. I want you to actually push out through the inner thighs and push out through your tail. Good. So make space between your belly and the top of your thigh. And then reach up through that underside of the heel. Deep breath in. Good. And then bend the knee again, please. Release the thigh. Place that left foot down to the floor. Good. Step your left foot wider to the left. Drop your knees to the right. Good. If having the ankle on top of the left knee does not feel good in that twist, then just step the right foot down to the floor and let the knees drop to the right without stacking the ankle. The whole Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, is on the sound of Om. And Om being the representation as well as the reality of that underlying truth of everything. There's no escaping it. There's nowhere else to go. And it's so simple that we can't imagine that that's all there is. That that's the foundation of all of the elaborate stuff that happens in our mind, or that we imagine could happen in our mind. I say, that's it, Om. Meditate on that, and you don't need anything else. Realize the truth of that, and you realize the truth of everything. Step out of your elaborate dream for a second and see what the dream is made of. Good. Bring yourself back up to center, please. Unwind your legs. Go to the other side. Left ankle comes on top of right thigh. Lift your right shin parallel to the floor. Reach through to hold. Good. Lift your right shin parallel to the floor. Nice. Relax your shoulders. That means you have to change the way you hold your leg, or it means that you don't hold your leg. I'm okay with either of those. But relax your shoulders. Good. Nice, you guys. What is extra funny to me is that I was very complainy today before coming to teach. My mind was very complainy about everything. Keep holding your thigh. Please extend your right heel up towards the ceiling. So when I jokingly say, right, that I'm going to listen to this later as a reminder to myself, I mean it. Because while I 100% believe everything that I'm saying as I'm saying it, part of me wants to argue. And that's what I mean is we have those different aspects, the different ways that our mind interprets reality. And some of it is the simple, this is what's true. And some of it is that that can't possibly be it. So where does your mind rest? That contradictory place that maybe is the doorway before we just accept that the reality that underlies it all is so simple, we missed it. Press that thigh back against your hands, please. Really root into your lower spine, push out through your tail. Good. And then bend the knee again, please. Place that right foot down to the floor, step it wider to the right, drop your knees to the left. Arms can go wide into cactus arms or any other position that feels like it is yours. 100% yourself. So we are practicing life. We are practicing becoming completely invested in the meaning of those mundane moments of chopping wood, carrying water, modern day equivalents of those. So that we feel that poetry that is the creation, that is the sustaining, that is the destroying, that is the everything. We feel that poetry in those mundane moments. The yogis say when that's all you feel in every moment, then that is literally enlightenment. You don't need anything else. You don't want anything else, because what else is there? So there's your elaborate dream, and then there's the simplicity of what you already have and haven't noticed. Come all the way back up. So until the mind notices on all levels, we keep practicing. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Bring the knees wide into happy baby, reaching for the ankles or the insteps. Stacking the heels on top of the knees. Good. And then optional here, if you'd like to play a little bit, lifting up on an exhale, lifting your shoulders and starting to wrap your arms around your calves. So wrap the shoulders, come inside the knees, wrap the arms around and start to work the knees back and down a little bit like you're trying to bring them over your shoulders. Good. Rounding into your back, eventually maybe being able to actually cross the ankles behind your head. That's the elaborate dream. Good. But start with practicing where you are and saying, here I am, with hips that maybe don't want to do that, shoulders that aren't interested in doing that, a neck that doesn't want to do that. And that's fine. Good, Jessica. Nice. Good, Alice. Nice, Harriet. And then slowly unwind yourself if you have not crossed your ankles and are not comfortable there. Good. Slowly release, stretch your legs out in front of you, take them wide, take your arms up overhead and wide like a big letter X. And relax. Take up so much space on your floor. Don't stay on your mat. Take up all the space on your floor. If your furniture gets in the way, just throw it. Just move it. Good. 100% relaxed. And without losing that feeling, start to bring yourself closer in to that more traditional Shavasana position if you want to. If you like where you are, stay. My only suggestion is that if the arms are up overhead, as that might start to circulation-wise not feel relaxing. But maybe let yourself be a little bit more expansive in your Shavasana position. And just fall through the edges of your own dream. Whatever you thought should be, might be, must be. Collapse it. So you find that simple place that just is. Very gently bring your awareness back to your breath, letting the body begin to stretch and move in whatever ways serve it well. And as you're ready, draw your knees in towards your chest. Roll to your right side. And take a moment there before you begin to push the floor away. Come back to an upright seated position. I hope that you have exhausted the energy that normally goes into the nonsense of your mind, so you can spend the rest of your day just being. Bring the hands together in front of the heart center, please, or whatever mudra or position has been serving you. And can you start to practice the simple poetry of chopping wood and carrying water, so that there is such a degree of joy, such a degree of happiness in watering your plants and going to the grocery store and vacuuming your floor and doing your laundry, that you don't look for anything else, that there's nothing else to crave because you have it all already. That's our ultimate practice, is to get beyond that feeling that there's something outside of me that has to be achieved in order for this life to be meaningful. It's just you. It's just life. And when we get into the simplicity of that, not that there is not meaning in other things, but we get into the simplicity of that, then nothing is ever missing. So practice that. Here you are. Just live. Close with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week until I see you. And don't forget, tomorrow night and Friday night is Kirtan online. For those of, they are allowing, Cheryl's having select few people into the studio if they want. So if you wanted to do that, you need to check with her.